Yo, I love helping people, for a small fee. For $50 an hour, we can make you feel special. What we do is we cram you full of a bunch of random crap that you're never going to use and that no one actually likes. But then we tell people that it's a special edition, and suddenly everyone flocks to it, until they realize that it's utterly useless shit inside of you. Oh, damn it, I just made this again.
Special editions are weird. A lot of movies have special features, usually just some stuff like commentary tracks, bloopers, maybe some deleted scenes or casting reviews. Nothing special, most movies have these right out the box. In fact, a lot of older movies wanted subtitles in different languages. Yes, that was real. For a while, the French language was impressive.
My copy of Monty Python the Holy Grail says so.
But with the invention of the DVD movie, came the studios realizing that they could make way more money if they made a release the big event of the season: special editions, collector's editions, director's cuts, and extended editions. Director's cuts and extended editions were always pretty understandable. Sometimes a director makes a movie and then decides that he wants all that stuff that was cut out for pacing to be re-added into the flick to make it more objectively worse. Other times, it's cool to see a director's cut happen, like the Army of Darkness director's cut, or the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings. But who gives a shit about the valid reasons to resell a movie? Let's talk about the garbage ones. Special editions were basically invented to offload unwanted merchandise onto the unexpected customer. Let's face it, nobody was going to buy Footloose who wasn't already into it, so let's give them a deluxe edition. Get the fans to buy it again so they have a 6 copy and sucker the non-fans into getting it because it looks like a good deal. Throw in some deleted scenes and a couple of interviews and hot damn, you're golden. Usually they can just use the ones that were stuck in some vault somewhere, if possible, as to keep, cost production down. That's usually what happens with most of these. Widescreen and full-screen releases often doubled as special editions. My copy of Ridley Scott's Gladiator is the Dolby Signature Selection version, and advertises widescreen as the big attention grabber. Basically, for the uninitiated, TVs used to be a lot smaller, and movies would often be cropped to fit them. Basically, widescreen gives you the full picture, and full screen is shit. It crops out part of the movie to fit onto the older box TV screens. I highly doubt the average moviegoer in the early 2000s even really thought about it all that much, but here we are, watching me rant and rave about it like it had sex with my wife or something. Some DVDs gave the option between the two, like my copy of Snatch, but that's a whole other story for a can of beans to be opened. Either way, these editions came with goodies. Apart from the disc, or oftentimes discs, it's usually just some paper ads and scene indexes most of the time inside the packaging. Scene indexes were and still are dumb. Like, what jackass is going to look at that while watching Killer Tomatoes eat France? Like, ooh, scene 16 in the Basement of Death, can't wait for scene 17, Operation Tomato Storm. Sometimes you get cool shit like a booklet with info, or like my copy of Tremors 4K UHD where it's got some postcards I'm never going to use, and a fake coupon for Chang's General Store. Holy Jeebus, this is fantastic. It's even got all kinds of fake stipulations like it can't be used on movie rentals, food, hardware, or beer, and even has to be used with a payment of over $50. This is so cute and it perfectly fits into Walter Chang's nature in that movie. It's not even a reference to a scene or joke from the movie. This is all original. They didn't have to do this, but they did because it was something fans would totally dig. I love it when movies do that. While we're on the topic, 4K releases are always some of the best special editions out there. I'd say Blu-ray are better since more people have a player that does Blu-ray, but I mean, if you don't, you can use a PS5 to play these discs, and most of them come with a digital or Blu-ray copy anyway. Yes, that means I have 2 copies of Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and I'm proud of it, damn it. In fact, a lot of times Blu-ray is released alongside the 4K ones. But they always have the same extras in the end, so it's not much to really talk about. It's just kind of neat. Now, both Tremors and Tremors 2 have all kinds of bloopers and alternate scenes. Tremors is a bunch of cutscenes that aren't even on my original copy of the collector's edition from years ago, which is still a good release in my opinion, but pick up the 4K or new Blu-ray or by Arrow Video if you get the chance. There was even a limited edition one which had an extra disc containing a bunch of old short films made by the creators Steve S. Wilson, Brent Maddock, and Ron Underwood. The one by Brent Maddock is about a bunch of film coming to life and killing a man like in The Blob. It's great. It feels more Tremors-like in a lot of ways, with the guy getting pulled in by it. The other 2 are fine, they're just educational videos. One's got a robot, that's about it. There's also a bunch of interviews with the cast and crew, bringing just about every actor together and hearing about what it was like working on the movie. There's interviews with special effects people, all about movie miniatures and graboid puppets. It's super in-depth. Tremors 2 was a lot smaller, as that film isn't as big of a thing as the first. For whatever reason, despite the sequels being just as good, if not better in some areas, than the first movie, with some sequel trilogy riddled exceptions, we don't talk about those. Everyone just flocks for the first and maybe watches the second and doesn't watch 3 or 4. It wasn't until the last few years that the TV series started to get some fans, and just last year was re-released a collection with all 7 films. The Tremors 2 4K release is still great, however, don't get me wrong. Good interviews with extras plus a poster, just like the first. Although the first one had a smaller poster with the anatomy of graboids, and on the other side was a Perfection Road sign. Kinda wish the second one had something similar, but I don't really know what the fuck they were gonna have for a road sign. I guess the oil field sign? I don't know. I don't like the way that posters are often packaged in these. Despite the fact that posters should always come in tubes, they like to cheap out and fold them, which creases the paper. And the paper they use always gets rubbed away, making these weird spots. The only special release thing I've ever seen not do this is the poster that you can buy for the AVG Adventures 1 and 2 Deluxe. Thank you, nerd. You're doing God's work. Not every 4K release is a special, however. Weird, the Al Yankovic story is pretty basic, and John Carpenter's The Thing, which has some new stuff, but it's mostly just a compilation of all the old special features off of other releases. It's more of an all-in-one archive sort of deal. However, one special release that will always make me happy is the return of the Killer Tomatoes Blu-ray. The fact that this exists is beautiful. Some extras and a photo gallery, but nothing huge. Director commentary, which, on the topic, who actually likes director commentary on most movies? Killer Tomatoes is cool because I want to know why this exists. Unlike the Simpsons movie, I know why that exists, because Fox likes making money. Return of the Killer Tomatoes is one of those movies that nobody talks about, but I've never heard a bad thing about it. Steve Lundquist, John Astin, and George fucking Clooney? Yeah, this is why it exists. It's been released so much because of George Clooney. It's cheap to produce, and somebody's gonna get suckered into it by seeing his face on the cover. It's also been re-released alongside Return to Horror High, another George Clooney movie. He didn't star in it, however, he was just in it. His role was a lot smaller. In Killer Tomatoes, he is literally playing the second banana to the main character. He was even supposed to play the main character in the fourth movie, but I guess that fell through. But hey, at least we got this one classic line.
That was the bravest thing I've ever seen a vegetable do.
You ever notice all these random Walmart special editions all have different weird-ass, long-ass titles, too? Clerks 2, Do This Full Screen Edition, Monty Python's Life of Brian Immaculate Edition, Weird Science Flashback Edition. What's so flashback about it? There's a making-of documentary, but it's not like this is some kind of real nostalgia grabber. This feels like a title for Back to the Future. And who's the target audience for this? I don't know a single person who would buy a new copy of this unless they're broke for some reason. And this is one of those ones that I feel like the only other reason is kids' parents might buy it for them because, oh, my little Jimmy loves Anthony Michael Hall movies. It really makes you wonder what was going on in the heads of the people who made these. Like, what's with the fucked up packaging? Look at Fight Club. You take out the disc holder that's in a box, fold it out, you have two actors' names above the discs that don't even match which discs go where. Like, why is Brad Pitt over Edward Norton? And Norton over Brad Pitt? Now, maybe it's a symbolic thing, referencing the movie, or maybe they just wanted Brad Pitt in front and center because he's famous as shit, and Ed Norton's Ed Norton. It always feels like it's falling apart. Why is the disc holder so fucking hard to get in this thing? It keeps getting hooked on the book holder. Why? I hate this fucking packaging. Who made this? What were they thinking? Look at Tremors. Simple. Easy. Pull the movie or book out. Put it in. Movie cases hold discs. Done. Also, why do 4K releases always need to have these cardboard sleeves? What am I protecting? Either way, this brittle-ass plastic is gonna break. My copies of The Thing and Day of the Dead shipped broken. Look at my copy of Gladiator from 2000-something. This thing is heavy-duty. It weighs like a full pound. I could open cans with this thing. I could kill a man with it. It's got so much bulk. Cops will be looking for the murder weapon. It'll be on my shelf the whole time. They'll never know. My Dawn of the Dead copy was the cheapest one I could get. It was $50, and it came with 3 of them. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead has always gotten fucked by its own makers. Basically, Dawn of the Dead was an indie film. It was financed by 6 people. Every time it's re-released, the creators all want different cuts, and it's super expensive. So it's a really big deal every time it happens. Mine comes with the theatrical cut, the extended cut, and the Italian cut that removes all of the humor. And it's in 4K. This movie cleans up nice. Too bad it's got this stupid-ass fucking paper packaging that I have to shove in a box. Yeah, sometimes these things have these pieces of paper that aren't even attached to anything. They're just put on the back to show the special features, and once the plastic goes off, so does it. Tremors did this, but it's actually attached to the box, but for some reason they didn't print that shit onto the case. No, they taped it. Why? But what does this do? But here's the big mother to end all big mothers. Lord of the Rings Extended Trilogy. The Lord of the Rings was great. Such a good movie trilogy. A good adaptation of the books? Fuck no, it barely follows them, besides a vaguely similar plot and the same cast of characters with some Tom Bombadil exceptions that anger me. But the extended editions added more to make them more like the books, and made them an acceptable length. The whole thing is 11 hours. The extended edition of Lord of the Rings Return of the King is over 4. Now you might be thinking, I said no extended or director's cuts. Well, that's where I got you, because these double as special editions. Hours upon hours of special features, multiple documentaries, tons of interviews with cast and crew, bloopers out the butthole. and all in one package. It's so much that they had to come up with their own books to help you navigate the menus, to watch what you want. However, the packaging kind of blows. I think it's cute that they meant to make it look like the books of the trilogy, but I also think it's rather cumbersome. You have to effectively shake the books out, take out the discs out of the book-shaped box, unfold them like 4 times, find the disc, which there's 4 by the way, and then play it. Why? It's great altogether and worth every penny it cost, but this is too much extra work for one disc. Putting in a movie in a player should not require this many steps. However, when you get it, it is a great experience. Best films. Special features called the appendices are so wonderful. Peter Jackson put his heart and soul into this thing, and you can tell. The packaging sucks a little, but it could be worse.
Those are just some of the special editions that I own. What I did find, though, is I figured out how to really make yourself feel special. Just become an influencer online and treat everyone around you like a jackass.